Thank you so much for your question. So this one is a tricky one because por and para are like ser and estar, for example, and indicative and subjunctive. It's like one of those things that people struggle a lot. And I always say to the students, like this is best to practice by having mistakes, like doing loads of sentences with por and para and with all of the different connotations and meanings, and having the mistakes will make you remember when to use them. But basically the main thing that you need to remember is that por, both of them mean for in English, but the main difference is that por means because of and para is in order to. That's like the main difference that you need to remember. But there's other, there's a list of different ones, and I'm going to do it in this video. So this video might be a little bit long, but obviously it's a very specific question that needs explanation. So hopefully you bear with me. Hopefully you understand the explanation as well. So let's get started. I'm going to start with por. So remember, that means because of. The first point for por is going to be to indicate motive, cause, or reason. So you mind if I said to you the sentence, llego tarde a trabajar por culpa del tráfico. So I arrived late to work because of the traffic. Voy a España por mi trabajo. Okay, voy a España por mi trabajo. I go to Spain because of my work. It's different if you said voy a España para trabajar. Okay, that's a different connotation. Remember the in order to, so I'm going to Spain in order to work. If you want to say that, that would be para, and it would be para plus infinitive. Okay, so we are getting now into the tricky stuff, but let's focus on por for now. The second point that we have with por is to indicate an approximated place or going through a specific place. Bear with me. So imagine if I said to you the sentence, el cine está por el centro. So the cinema is around the center. So like in that case, por doesn't really mean for or because of, it means around. So I'm not saying to you it's in the center. So I'm not saying el cine está en el centro. That would be the cinema is in the center. I'm like confirming to you that the cinema is in the center. But if I say el cine está por el centro, myself, I don't really know where the cinema is. I'm just saying that it's around the center. So that's key to know when to use por, or in the other case, en, in the center. I can also say that going through a specific place, el ladrón entró por la ventana. So the thief entered through the window. So in this case, por means through. Or I could tell you another sentence. For example, imagine you are in Spain and you say, ¿pasa este autobús por Salamanca? Does this bus go through Salamanca? So imagine if you're in the north of Spain, you want to go to the south, but you want to visit Salamanca. Why Salamanca? Because I'm from there. So imagine you're in the north, you want to go to the south, and you want to go through Salamanca to visit it. So you could ask in the bus station, ¿pasa este autobús por Salamanca? And that por would mean through. So does this bus go through Salamanca? The third point that we have with por is to indicate an approximated time or regularity. So for example, we have este año no voy a casa por Navidades. This year I'm not going home, or I'm not going back home for Christmas. That would be like for Christmas. Or for example, I can say, hace 2 años solía ir al cine 2 veces al mes. So 2 years ago, I used to go to the cinema twice a month. So that's showing a certain regularity. The next one, number 4, is a little bit trickier than the others because we're talking about the passive voice sentences. Now, that could be a different video, like what's the active voice, what's the passive voice. But quickly explained. Imagine I give you the sentence, el perro come la manzana. The dog eats the apple. That's active voice. Passive voice would make the dog not be the subject anymore. Is the apple would be the main subject of the sentence. It would be like the passive subject. But basically the sentence would be something like, la manzana es comida por el perro. The apple is eaten by the dog. So the agent in passive voice in English is by, but in Spanish, our passive agent is por. The 5th point we have is medium, but using a medium to do something else. So for example, imagine I say, mi madre me llama por teléfono. My mom or my mother calls me by phone. So by, that use of a medium. So it's like she's calling me by phone. Or for example, we can say, tenemos clases de español por Zoom. So we have Spanish classes via or through or by Zoom. So por and para, as you will eventually see, they mean many other prepositions in English. You need to remember though that Spanish has 23 prepositions, 2 of them are obsolete, and English has around 150 prepositions, which, yeah, it's a little bit insane. Let's keep going. Our 6th point is distribution. So for example, if I say, Álvaro da un examen por estudiante. Álvaro gives an exam per student. So that por would be per. The next point we have is equivalence. So for example, imagine if I say, te doy 2 bolígrafos azules por 2 bolígrafos negros. I give you 2 blue pens in exchange of or for 2 black pens. Equivalence. The next one we have is price. So for example, if I say, compro un ordenador por 1,000 libras. I buy a computer for 1,000 pounds. And the last one is speed. Okay, so imagine if I say, la velocidad máxima en las carreteras de España es de 120 kilómetros por hora. So the maximum speed in the Spanish roads, like the roads in Spain, is of 120 kilometers per hour. Anything that is speed related, in that case, like kilometers per hour, miles per hour, will be using por. Now, we're getting into para. Para is way shorter, okay? And remember, is with the connotation of in order to. So the first point that we're going to have is purpose or objective. In order to. Purpose or objective. So imagine if I say, voy a España para trabajar. I go to Spain for work or in order to work. Remember, we need infinitive after para in that case. Or for example, you can say, uso mi coche para ir a trabajar. I use my car in order to go to work. The second one is to indicate movement or an action. So imagine this a little bit harder. So imagine if I say, voy para allá. I'm coming. It's like literally translating means voy para allá. I go towards there. So let me put it in context because this is like quite between friends, I would say. This is not like a formal scenario. So imagine if you're gonna meet up a friend and your friend says, where are you? Like, you said to me you were gonna meet up at past, and it's like, almost past and you're not here yet. And you can say, sorry, something happened. Voy para allá. So like voy para allá is like a way of saying, literally translated, I go towards there. But in English you would say, I'm coming now, sorry. Like, so it's like, it's indicating movement or direction, but in the moment that you are doing that action. I hope that makes sense. The next point is time or deadline. Imagine if I say, tienes que leer el libro para la próxima semana. You have to read the book for next week. The next one is addressee. So for example, if I say, este regalo es para ti. This present is for you. The next one would be opinion. So imagine if I say, para mí, las preposiciones son fáciles de entender. So for me, prepositions are easy to understand. Some of you will probably kill me for saying that. It's like saying, en my opinion, you could say para mí, for me. And the last one is, in por, we have the passive voice. In the para, we have concessive form. Again, that could be a completely different video. But for you to understand it, I'm going to give you, obviously, a sentence example. Para ser junio, hace mucho frío. It's like a way of saying, for being June, it's very cold. Because it's June, you're expecting to be hot. And it's not. It's cold. Para ser verano, hace mucho frío. So like for being summer, it's very cold. Right, I hope this makes sense. I know this was a very long video. If you have any more questions, as usual, let me know in the comments and I will try to reply as best as I can and as best as I know. But thank you so much for your question.